Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. We are in our series of becoming more financially wise and making ourselves more financially stable so that we can have more peace of mind, that we can have more healthy relationships, that hopefully our marriages will be better because we won't be fighting about money. There's so many reasons we can give and make a bigger contribution to our lives and our church and the world around us. There's so many reasons to be financially wise and financially stable. So what we're taking a look at is I'm offering kind of a Catholic twist, Catholic commentary on Dave Ramsey's baby steps. So today we're taking a look at baby step number 2, which is paying off all of your debt using the debt snowball. Okay, so what is the debt snowball? Oh, and by the way, he does not propose paying off the mortgage within this piece, paying off all debt. So it's all debt except for the mortgage. So first of all, what is the debt snowball? So what Dave Ramsey proposes here is that you take all of your debts, okay? So you line them all up, again, not the mortgage, you set that one aside. You look at all of your debts. So car, credit cards, student loans, whatever debts, other debts that might be on the playing field. Put all of those up and you take a look at all of these. Now, what he proposes is that you don't take a look at the interest rate. What you do is you take a look at whichever debt is the smallest, okay? All the other debts, say there's 3, 4, 5 other debts, you do the minimum payments every month on each of those, and what you do is you save like crazy. You live super, super simple. You don't go out to eat. You don't go out to the movies. You're not spending money on clothes. You wear the clothes that you have. Okay, you're not getting a nicer car, anything like that. You're saving as much as you can, and you're putting that money into paying off that smallest debt first. And you get that smallest debt paid off as quick as you can. Maybe you can do it in a few weeks. Maybe it takes a couple of months, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 months, whatever. You get that smallest debt paid off. And then once you do that, you take the money that you were putting into that smaller debt, you take that and all the money that you've been saving up to pay off that first debt, you turn all of that to the next smallest debt, debt number 2, okay? You put it into that, and then you also take the money that you were putting into debt number 1 and you put that into paying off debt number 2. So this is where it starts to snowball and it starts to build, and it can start to get very exciting, is you get one of those debts taken care of, and then that proves to you, you know what, I can do this. I can do this, is I can save this, and look, I'm having success. I'm building, it's about building momentum. So really a key piece in everything. Is it important in health, in terms of our spirituality, in terms of getting in good financial shape, getting in good physical shape, like everything is building up this momentum. Okay, so we pay off this first debt and then we attack the second debt. And once we get that debt paid off, now we've built up a virtue. Okay, we've actually built up this habit of not being materialistic and hopefully praying to God and asking God, how do you want me to use my money? You've given me my job, you've given me opportunities, you've given me the wealth and resources that I have, and for all of us, we're never going to feel like we have enough, probably. Like, oh, I don't feel like I'm wealthy, but the reality is God has blessed us so much with everything that we have. So asking God and praying to God, how do you want me to use my wealth and my resources, and getting out of debt and being able to live with a greater sense of peace and being able to contribute more to the lives of others is huge in terms of our own sense of peace, building that relationship with God and making a contribution and using our wealth and resources the way God wants us to use those. That's all so, so important. So we pay off that first debt, and then we build this debt snowball, pay off that second debt, and then we take those minimum payments, all those expenses that we were running into with those first two, and then we dump all that into the third debt, okay, the third smallest debt, and we go after that. Now, one of the biggest critiques against this step number 2, baby step number 2, is paying off all these debts, is not taking a look at the interest. Okay, now if you're going to be smart, okay, and if you're going to crunch the numbers, it would actually be smartest to deal with the debt that has the highest interest rate first. So as an example, let's say that we've got 3 different kinds of debt. Let's say that we have credit card debt, and we have a loan on a car that we still owe, and we have some student loans, okay? And let's say that our credit card is maybe 12% interest, and our car loan is 6% interest, and our student loan is 4% interest, okay? But let's say the size of these, let's say that our credit card debt is about, let's say, $3,000, and our car loan is about $1,000, and our student loan is maybe $10,000. Okay, so what Dave Ramsey would say is you should attack the smallest loan, the smallest amount first, which in this case would be the car, okay? Because the car is only, $1,000. I should pay that off first, even though it's 6% interest. Now, the biggest critique that tends to get thrown at the debt snowball is, if you look at your money and going forward, you will actually do better in terms of the numbers, in terms of the math, if you go after the highest interest rate first, if you get the highest interest rate paid off first. So, your typical financial planner, and numbers-wise, this is actually what is smarter, if you will, is to start with the credit card debt, because that's like 12% interest and it's like $3,000. If you get that paid off, you pay that off first, and then you would tackle the car loan, which is, maybe at like 6% interest, and then the student loan last. Okay, that it would say to do that. Now, here's, I think, the logic behind Dave Ramsey's debt snowball is, while it might not be the smartest way to tackle debt in terms of the pure numbers, is that Dave Ramsey understands in helping people financially that there's a psychological component to this. There's an emotional component to this. And if I'm tackling, say, the credit card debt, and if that's a $3,000 bill and it's 12% interest, if I try to tackle that first, I may give up. I may only get $1,000 in or $1,500 in paying that off, and I might give up, and I might not continue to build the virtue of paying off my debts and being smart and trying to work out of the vice of materialism, okay? And really asking God, how do you want me to spend my money? And how do you want me to be financially responsible here? And growing in that kind of financial virtue and making a contribution to others as well. So if I'm engaged in this process, Dave Ramsey's going to say, you know what? Start with the smallest debt. Actually, start with the car, even though it's 6% interest. It's not the higher interest, the 12%. It's only $1,000. Because once you pay that off, you're going to feel great about it. And you're going to start to build this momentum. Okay, you're going to build this momentum. And this is what he calls the debt snowballs. You tackle that one, then you're going to be that much, well, look, I paid off $1,000 debt of my car. Now all I've got left is my student loan, and I've got my credit card debt. All right, my credit card debt's $3,000. So let's go after that one and take the minimum payments that I was paying on my car, and we're going to put that toward that, and we're going to be able to tackle that. So in the long run, it might not be quite as, in pure numbers, it might not be quite as financially clever, but what it will do is it will build momentum. Okay, it'll get the emotions involved. It'll feel successful. Okay, and that's really key, because you can give all day long. You can give good advice, which is, numerically, it's going to be the best thing to do. But if we don't get ourselves motivated and we don't feel that success, if we don't feel the results, it's like exercising. Like, if I don't see some results and I don't feel better, I'm not going to be motivated to keep moving. So I think that that's really the underlying wisdom behind baby step number 2, is to use the debt snowball and start with smaller debts. Now, let me be 100% honest with you. I don't follow this one, okay? Because I really am pretty self-disciplined when it comes to working with my money. So honestly, I don't feel like I really need that emotional, surge of, oh, right, I paid off this smaller loan, even though it has a lower interest rate. Is I go for the bigger interest rate first, no matter the size of the loan. That's the one that I'm going to tackle first. So I don't follow this one because I'm actually going after, in the long run, the math on this one. That's what I tackle first. So, but I totally see the wisdom in Dave Ramsey's approach. I think that there's a ton of value in that, because it really ties into our Catholic faith, because growing in virtue is really key, and it's part of the human condition, right? Like, in terms of our health, is we need to see some results to keep us motivated and keep that momentum going. It really is key. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope that this was useful to you. If it was, and you want more of this stuff from Passionately Catholic, be sure to subscribe. I want to send out a special thank you to all of our patrons, especially our Patreon patrons. Thank you so much for making Passionately Catholic possible. I wish you a wonderful day, all God's blessings and peace, and I look forward to being in touch again very soon.